Riley from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If Dylan Raiola decommits along with a flood of portal exits, how bad is it for Georgia? How bad is it for Georgia? My, how the tables have turned in this sport. I am speaking semi-sarcastically, but also realistically. This is kind of how it happens. So if you don't know who Dylan Raiola is, he is one of the top-rated quarterbacks in America. He's been committed to Georgia for a long time, transferred from Arizona to Buford High School, a program I had a fair amount of success against when I played them at Harris County High School, but a powerhouse. There is something called the Buford curse that Georgia fans know about all too well, and it goes a little something like this. We don't get players out of Buford. That's what a Georgia fan would tell you, beginning and ending of sentence. Well, the thought was, we're going to break the Buford curse because we got a 5-star quarterback. He is so locked in that he's going to transfer to Buford, and he's going to be in here in the state of Georgia, and he's going to learn the culture. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, Wilt Fong drops a Fong bomb on everyone. He changed his crystal ball for Dylan Raiola to Nebraska. Dylan Raiola's father coaches and played at Nebraska. There's probably some NIL involved there as well. I am not an idiot. I understand how this game works at this point. And now, all of a sudden, we got pets' heads falling off in the state of Georgia. And then you combine that with the fact that 14 kids, as of airtime tonight, have hit the portal. That's got some Georgia fans saying, what's happening? What's wrong? Are we in trouble? Should I be worried? That's why I'm here. I am here to both shoot you straight, but also talk you off the ledge. I don't want you to come all the way down. I just want you to back away from the ledge because I'm not going to paint this as a good thing. Of course, it's not a good thing. It's a real thing. I'll tell you when you got legit reason to worry. When you're a Georgia fan, the moment you need to start legitimately worrying about your program is the moment that you look at that headline and instead of a kid decommitting or a kid going in the portal, it's your head coach leaving. It's Kirby Smart deciding he's either retiring or he's going to the NFL. And until the day that happens, and I have no guided knowledge it's ever going to, until that happens, you'll be fine. Doesn't mean you'll win the national championship every year. You'll be fine. You're in two of the most capable hands in this sport right now at the head coaching position. And so, I think there may be this misnomer. I grew up in Georgia. I know that state intimately. There was not a ton of national success for this program for a long time. Mark Richt had the program very good, but it was not elite. They weren't winning national championships. They were an SEC contender with flashes of national contention. But my point is, they weren't in the kind of rarefied air that USC had been in the early 2000s, nor did they ever get to the heights that Urban got to at Florida, and they never got to the heights that Saban has had Alabama at for a long time. So my point is they never experienced this. A lot of my statesmen down there, you guys never experienced what it was like to be the best in the game for any period of time. Clemson did. Clemson got a bite out of that apple, got a couple bites out of the apple, actually. And then Clemson didn't fall off a cliff. But they found out what the consequences of success in this sport are about. They're real. It's not just some catchphrase I made up so we can sound cool on this show. I'm on bumpy flights all the time. I fly every week. A bumpy flight does not mean a crash is imminent. It just means that's how flights work. And having a little turbulence in your program, that doesn't mean the sky's falling, or it doesn't even mean you're doing anything wrong. It actually may mean you're doing something right. Consequences of success, as we've coined the phrase around here, are only experienced by the elite 1 or 2% in the sport, because there's this very big lie that's told in college football and in life that when you get things rolling, when you start to have some success, things get easier. No, some things get easier. Like it's no longer hard to get attention. In college football, it's no longer hard to get airtime when you've got success. But when you get that success, there's this whole other barrel of issues you never thought about, you never thought they were possible, you never even considered them when you were 7-5, and all of a sudden, because you're successful, there's this new heap of crap that falls in your lap that no one who goes 8-4 per season ever even has to worry about. That's Georgia football. That's Kirby Smart. Urban dealt with it with very mixed results. Saban is the best to ever do it because he's dealt with it year over year, and it's not ever taken him off the top spot, which is its own different show. Kirby Smart's dealing with it right now. It's also why I never entertained that very short-sighted question that a lot of folks kept asking, has Kirby overtaken Saban? It's impossible. It doesn't matter if he won 3 titles in a row and won every game 50-0. It's impossible because the greatness of Nick Saban is not seen in a 12, 24, or 36-month period. It's decade and a half of dealing with the consequences of success and never being taken down. Never being taken off the top spot, and in the process, sort of retooling and reinventing your philosophy a couple of different times. Kirby Smart's fine. Georgia's fine. Let me tell you how much that Saban guy has totally warped reality in this sport. He's not human. So what they've done at Alabama is not normal. It'll never be done again. You just happen to be existing in that era right now. And because you're existing in that era, and Nick Saban's done what he's done there, everybody thinks their guy can do that, and everybody thinks their program can do that. You can't, and you won't. And if you do, then you're an alien just like he is. I had someone earlier today in my comment section, dead serious, ask the question, is Kirby Smart going to become our Dabo Swinney? Like it's a bad thing to be Dabo Swinney. Dabo has dominated a conference for over a decade, up until 5 minutes ago, won 2 national championships, double-digit wins every season, but because he doesn't have half a dozen national championships, because he's not the dude with the script A on his chest, we don't want a Dabo. Yeah, you do. The rest of the sport does. What if Kirby's our Dabo? I looked at it, and I typed out like 5 responses, and thankfully, guided by Meemaw's wisdom, I hit backspace each time. I just don't think some folks realize how hard it is to win. Kirby does because he says it all the time, and you don't believe him because he just got done playing Kentucky, and since he was favored by 16, it's just supposed to be easy. Playing Georgia Tech, he's got a more talented roster, ditto when they face South Carolina, ditto lately when they face Florida or even Tennessee, so it's just supposed to be easy. Even when you've got everything rolling, it's hard. It just looks easy because the best make it look easy. But you have no idea. When those guys all of a sudden show up and they got a few more gray hairs and you can tell they've put on 6 or 8 pounds over the course of the season, it's because they're living a really unhealthy lifestyle. Not that you need to feel sorry for them, but I'm just telling you, even the best of the best, it is like bear crawling over a bed of broken glass to try and maintain that spot. It's the reason they seem so paranoid. It's also the reason why this time of year, I can't even get anyone to return a text because they're totally in the bunker. They're trying to simultaneously hold together a recruiting class. They're trying to hold together a roster. They're trying to make sure, their current guys don't go in the portal. They're also trying to get ready for a bowl game. And it's insane. And that is also its own separate conversation. But there's nothing wrong at Georgia. What's wrong at Georgia is you've won a little too much. And so you've stacked a roster a little too deep, and you can only put 11 on the field at the time, and you got about 37 or 38 of them over there who are really qualified to be on the field, and it's attrition. It's going to happen to them every year. You want to know the places that aren't really losing many players? They're the teams you're beating on Saturday. In many cases, that's just reality. So consider it a blessing to have to be tortured like this in December, because you guys remember what it used to be like. You guys remember getting thumped by Florida. You remember when you couldn't breathe the same air as Alabama? You didn't lose as many players back then. Granted, it wasn't the portal era like it is now. I get it. But you know what I'm saying is true, especially those of you down in Georgia. I just want this to be a copy, paste, rinse, repeat. Texas will deal with this. If Sark ends up winning like Kirby has, Texas will deal with this. Oklahoma under Brent Venables. If you guys are fortunate enough to get to this rung on the ladder, you will deal with this. The only reason that Dabo and Clemson aren't dealing with it as much is because temporarily they slipped, the foot came off the gas for just a second, but they were dealing with it too. You can't escape the consequences of success. It's why no one just keeps winning. What's happening at Alabama is not even real. Pretend like it's fake, because you try and duplicate that, you hold that as your standard, you will be heartbroken when you should be joyful. Georgia fans should be overjoyed. Maybe not when a kid decommits or, when you got 14 kids going in the portal, but your 30 or 50,000 foot perspective is you should be joyful. If you are 15 years old and you're a Georgia fan, you have no clue that this is as good as it'll ever be, because this is all you've ever known Georgia football as. It's this. Hey, for that matter, you want to see some grade A suffrage, watch what happens to a 30-year-old Alabama fan when Saban leaves, because you've only experienced a little bit of a window. Their entire life has been either we won the national championship or someone screwed us out of a national championship, or our team wasn't focused or coaching staff wasn't quite up to snuff, but it's always because of us. Do you understand there's not another one of him out there? There's just not. And so everyone, including Alabama, will eventually come back down to earth, and you'll suffer the consequences of success, and Georgia's no different. So I hope that made you feel a little bit better.